Hi, I'm Cecilia Ding. Thank you for coming to my online therapy room. I'm guessing you're here because you wanted to know a little bit about family counseling, and we haven't got the chance to set up a virtual consult. I'm sorry about that, and thank you for your flexibility in getting to know me in this way. And this video is primarily about family counseling, and I do have a separate video for couple counseling and individual counseling. I often receive requests from families who want to work on their relationship because they deeply care about each other and they want to support each other. But somewhere along the way, they have lost each other. They have lost the intimate understanding it takes to be able to say the right things, to do things the right way in order to make each other feel supported and loved. And all of the family members I have come in contact with all come to this virtual therapy room with the best of intentions, but are all missing some of the tools that we need in order to communicate and connect better. And this is often not your fault, because I myself and almost everyone else I know had to learn this way after we have left school, because our education is primarily working with our left brain, with our cognitive mind, where it's all about language, all about logic. But in relationships, we're often working with our heart, with our feelings, with the way that we connect, with the way our body can feel safe next to each other. And most of us have not been educated in that, but we're all very capable of learning. And often, even though we're from loving families who are obviously flawed because we're human, we're not meant to be perfect. But what makes it difficult to connect is the fact that we are from such a different linguistic and cultural background. Sometimes it's because we have older generations that come from a different parts of the world, different region, or even speak entirely different mother tongue. And they have worked so hard to provide the kind of circumstance, the kind of opportunities for the younger generation that they never had. But unfortunately, because they never had it, they don't quite understand or trust what it takes to live and thrive in this new environment. So part of them might want to impose rules or their experiences onto the younger generation that no longer fit, that have in some ways expired, even though it serves their generation very well. And the younger generation, on the other hand, and I'm sure I myself will experience this one day, that are trying to set up their own individual identity, are trying to set up boundaries and to grow and learn to optimize their own existence in this new environment. And at the same time, they trust and appreciate the love and intentions of those who raised them, but don't quite know how to create that separation without hurting each other's feelings and without really creating a rupture in the relationship that might not be repairable. And I say that I might experience this one day myself, because this is not just unique to immigrant families. It's not unique to families who have come from a collective communal culture, such as most of the world are, to, let's say, the Western Europe or North America, where it's more individualistic culture. But it can happen between generations where, for example, between me and my child, where even if our cultural and economic background are fairly similar, she will still have her own unique experience. So that process of separation, of individuation, will always be a little bit painful or uncomfortable, at least for each generation after another. So for families, I'm often working on that process of separation, of recognizing each other's new identity. When I say each other's new identity, I'm not just referring to the younger generation, because I believe the older generation are also growing in this process. They're also able to have an opportunity to recognize the ways that they can continue to change and learn to improve their own experience in life without having to dedicate all of that and invest all of that on the younger generation. So this process of separation is really, in fact, a process of reconnection, of seeing each other in different ways, not as older, younger, but as separate individuals who can respect each other, who can stand a little bit more apart in order to see each other better, in order to love each other in the way that you both deserve, and learn to use the right way to communicate that, both emotionally, physically, and using your language. I look forward to connecting with you in our therapy room. And I thank you for having the courage and the insight to grow together.